Working with dates and times. Functions for working with dates and times are provided in the standard package dates. To use any of the time and date functions, you must do one of the following. Using dates or import dates. If you use import dates functions, you will need to prefix every function with an explicit date. For example, dates.dayofweek and passing the argument. However, if you add the line using dates to your code, this brings all exported dates functions into main and they can be used without the dates dot prefix. Since we have typed using dates over here, we can use the now function without the dates dot prefix. Date, time, and date times. There are three main data types available. A dates.time object represents a precise moment of time in a day. It doesn't say anything about the day of the week or the year. It's accurate to a nanosecond. A dates.date object represents just a date, no time zones, no daylight saving issues, etc. It's accurate to a day. A dates.datetime object is a combination of a date, a time of the day, and so it specifies an exact moment in time. It's accurate to a millisecond or so. Use one of these constructors to make the type of object you want. To convert the dates.now to time, we pass it to the dates.time function and assign it to the variable right now. To define the variable birthday, I pass a date to dates.date function. The dates.today function returns a date object for the current date. The dates.now function returns a datetime object for the current instant in time. Sometimes you want UTC the reference time for the world without local adjustments for daylight savings, so we can use the dates.now and pass the dates.utc to it as the argument. If we want to create an object from a formatted string, we use the datetime function in dates and supply a suitable formatted string that matches the formatting. As you observe, I provide different formatting strings. You can see what it does as it's passed as the second argument to the datetime function. Date and time queries. Once you have a datetime or date object, you can extract information from it with the following functions. For both date and datetime objects, you can obtain the year, month, day, and so on. Simply, most of the functions are self-explaining and it's obvious what their functionality is. Here you can pass the now function to the minute, second, and hour to get different parts of the time component. Even though the names are similar, they might have subtle differences in their functionalities, so please check them out. As I'm running these lines of code, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. Also, if you have any questions regarding the topic that I am explaining, please comment them down below the video. I will check them out and I will answer them as soon as possible. I also take requests to make special tutorials about special topics. So if you have any suggestions, I will be glad to hear it. There are two functions that we have already used, days of week in month and days of week of month. Days of week in month function tells you how many days there are in the month with the same day name as the specified day. Days of week of month tells us, for example, that the 15th of March 1997 was the third Saturday of the month. Date arithmetic. You can do arithmetic on dates and datetime objects. Subtracting two dates or datetimes to find the difference is the most obvious one. For example, over here the convert function takes as the first argument dates.day and as the second argument a period of time. And it actually converts the period of time and outputs and returns something in terms of day. To add and subtract periods of time to date and datetime objects, use the dates.constructor functions to specify the period. Dates.year20 defines the period of 20 years, and dates.month6 defines a period of 6 months. So to add 20 years and 6 months to the birthday date, we have the code you see. To get the days to Christmas, we subtract the today's date from December 25th. To retrieve the value as a number, use the function dates.value. This works with different types of datetime objects too. Range of dates. You can make iterable range objects that define a range of dates. You can also use the filter function and pass as this first argument and second argument the anonymous function and the range of dates respectively. Similarly, here's a range of times 3 hours apart from now for a year. We define the variable d and assign the collect function which we have already passed a range of dates to it, and we get in return an array of elements which are of type datetime. If you have to pay a bill every 30 days, starting on the 1st of January 2018, the following code shows how the due date creeps forward every month. We have used the forEach function and passed as the first argument the anonymous function which prints date in a specific format, and as the second argument a range of dates starting from the 1st of the January 2018 till 1st of the January 2019. Date formatting. To specify date formats, you use date formatting codes in a formatting string. Each character refers to a datetime element. For example, a small letter y refers to year digit, a small letter m refers to month digit, and a small letter u represents the first 3 letters of the month name, and capital letter U represents the month name completely, and the list goes on and on. You can use these formatting strings with functions such as datetime and dates.format. For example, you create a datetime object from a string by identifying the different elements in the incoming string. Here we are using the date function and we are specifying a formatting string for our date. You can supply a format string to dates.format to format a date object. In the formatting string, you repeat the characters to control how years and days, for example, are output. When you are creating a formatted date, you can double some of the components of the formatted string to produce a leading 0 for single-digit date elements. Convert a date string from one format to another. You can use datetime function and a formatted string to convert the string to a datetime object. Then dateFormat function to output the object in a different format. If you are doing a lot of formatting, you can apply date functions to an array of strings. It's a good idea to predefine a date format object and then use that for bulk conversions. There are some built-in formats that you can use. For example, there is a dates.iso datetime format to give you the ISO 8601 format. And here is a good old RFC 1123 format. Date adjustments. Sometimes you want to find the date nearest to another. For example, the first day of that week or the last day of the month that contains that date. You can do this with the functions like dates.firstDayOfWeek and dates.lastDayOfMonth. So if we are currently in the middle of week, the first day of week is returned as you can see. We can also use the function chain operator to actually pass the arguments to functions. A more general solution is provided by the toFirst and toLast, toNext and toPrevious functions, or actually methods. With toNext and toPrev functions, you can provide possibly an anonymous function that returns true when a date has been correctly adjusted. With toFirst and toLast, you can find the first Sunday or Thursday or whatever of a month. Monday is first, Tuesday is second, and etc. Supply the keyword argument of is equal to year to get the first matching weekday of the year. Rounding dates and times. You can use round, floor, and ceil functions usually used to round numbers up or down to the nearest preferred values to adjust dates forward or backwards in time so that they have rounder values. Now we get the value of the variable birthday and use the ceil function which adjusts dates or times to forward in time. Moments in time. Date times are stored as milliseconds in the field instant. Use dates.value to obtain the value. For example, we define the variable moment and assign the dates.now to it and get the value by dates.value and passing the moment to it. If you use the more precise dates.time type, you can access nanoseconds. Timing and monitoring. The elapsed macro returns the number of seconds an expression took to evaluate. For example, I define the function test and pass the argument n to it and actually calculate the sign of a random number and assign it to the variable x inside the test function. After that, I will use the elapsed macro and pass the large value to the test function and calculate the time which has been taken in seconds to evaluate the result. The addTime macro tells you how long an expression took to evaluate and how much memory was allocated. If you are enjoying the content, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more awesome videos. Your support means the world to me.